Hi guys, this is Warwick from Casual Chess, back for another 5-minute game today. Looks like I'm playing white against an opponent from Kazakhstan. I'm going to focus today on moving a fair bit quicker than I usually do. I know that sometimes it's a bit of a struggle for me to keep up. I'm used to playing 10-minute games rather than 5, but I've been getting into 5-minute games purely for this channel. So, time to have another go, my daily game. We're going to play the Sicilian Najdorf for Amsterdam variation. He plays Queen to C7 as his continuation, and I'll develop my bishops from here. Looking to castle to the king side. He's got reasonable development, although I must say I'm not too worried about it at this stage. I'll play my queen to D2 and look to maybe double up those pawns. Sorry, double up the rooks on the F file. I think I'll go for some early threats already, and I'm looking now for something like on... Oh, I must say I wasn't expecting that. Okay. No matter. I think I'll take with the pawn there, knowing that I've got the retake with the pawn if he didn't. Okay, he did. What have we got now? Something like... I'm not sure. What are my options here? I'm wanting to play something like A3 as a prophylactic move against something like knight B4, but there really is no point in knight B4, and I wouldn't be surprised to see something like knight takes knight on D4. So I'll stack up my rook behind my queen here on the D file, and let's see where he takes us. I had the more traditionally fast development there, but there's no problems for him now. He's got his pieces reasonably developed, although slightly more passive with those bishops, I'd personally say. We've both got two pawns in front of our kings and the open F file with a rook on it. I'm liking my placement towards the center of the board just a little bit better, but as I said, I don't really see any problems for him. I think a question for me now is, what am I going to do? What am I going to do along the F file, and what am I going to do with my G pawn? For the moment, I think I'll play a waiting move. I'll play king to H1. Not really a good move, but I'm just not sure what to do next at this stage. Okay, after that move I'm definitely going to play H3 to protect that G4 square. He's starting to stack up his knights along that. I think the intention there is to take out the bishop, which he's going to win with that fork there. Fork on the queen and the bishop there by playing his knight to the C4 square. Okay. He's taken a pawn and I will lose that knight now. However, I'm wondering whether there's a way out here. Okay, playing my knight from the C square to D5 threatens his queen, and upon retakes, I'll have retake with the knight without worrying about losing that. Might be an option for me. I don't think I have played this too well actually. I have lost one pawn and probably about to lose another if retakes on the E4 pawn. What I'm thinking is something like Okay, well, I was about to tell you my plan, but it's been made redundant. I think what we'll do now is we'll play queen check. And then after whatever move comes next, I do have an option to get my knight into the game. So get my knight into the game by forking that rook and that queen, and he'll be forced to retake with his bishop. Doing that will get my queen heavily into the game and mean he can't take the pawn on c2 because he would leave e7 unattended. Looking to trade pieces off the board. I'm not sure whether I will go for that. I don't really like it. But I think I may have found the way. Actually, rook takes f6. Now, if retakes with the queen, retakes with the rook. But if retakes with... Yep, and that's the way. So he's actually lost a knight there. Sorry, I didn't explain that so well, but I have regained a piece. And it looks like now I've got a fork between this bishop here on e7 and the pawn on e4. Starting to fall apart there just a little bit for him. Okay. Alright, I'll play retakes there with that knight, pardon me, that rook. It's just a matter of deciding which one. Okay. Naturally, I'm going to have to play that bishop over to g4 just to protect that. And I suspect there's going to be some move trying to kick this bishop that I have currently on e3. There'll be a way for me to keep that safe, potentially by moving it to a7. Okay, I have to say I was not expecting that. Getting rid of this pawn that he's got on e4 now is going to be a slight issue for me because it will advance down the board if I'm not careful. I do have an option as well to move my bishop on e3 back to g1, trying to keep that a little bit safe there. It's not ideal, but it could work. I am running out of time though, and I know I said that was actually going to be the point of this game, was to improve my time management, and we haven't done that, but not looking too dismal over here. I have to say he's just thrown away a piece there. I don't see why he's done that. I'll lose my piece if I retake, but what about a move like Bg5? He's still under attack, and if he moves improperly now with that rook, yeah, this is going to be a real issue for him. I do have some checkmate options lined up there on the back rank, and it'll be interesting to see whether he sees them. If something like rook to c8, I've got rook to e8. Definitely didn't play that optimally, but no matter. We're winning pieces here, and I may have enough time to advance my pieces down the board. Don't see how he can protect his pawns over here on the A side of the board. Not worried about losing that bishop, although I definitely could have played that better. I have thrown away this game here now slightly. realise I went silent towards the end of that game there, but that's what you do when you're under pressure. I have to say I'm surprised to get away with that win there. I said I wasn't worried about losing my bishop there in the end game, and I should have been. I did have the advantage. I didn't play well with the rooks along the back file. I had ideas there that I thought would come true, and they didn't. Bit of a shame. Whew, my heart rate's up though, but we won't manage to win that on time. Checking my heart rate now, it's actually up. I've got a watch that tracks it. It's actually up at 95. Usually it sits around 50. Whew. Okay, let's get on to the analysis and see all the mistakes. I'm sure there was plenty in that game. I'll be back in a moment. Okay, we're back with the analysis now, and oh my goodness, this is one of the most strange patterns I've ever seen. For a time, he had the advantage, my opponent here, when we were looking at a position like this, and I gave away my pawn over here on the B2 square, you may remember. He had the advantage, but not long later, I had the 5+ advantage. And I managed to throw it away, especially looking at this bit here. Unbelievable. So we went from plus 4.6 down to about negative 5.6. I thought my move up there from the D1 rook to the D8 square was a good move. I thought I was challenging, but I could see now that the better move would have been bishop to E7. Now his response, yeah, it was a blunder, but my response following this was yet another mistake. Or I believe that's possibly an inaccuracy actually. From here, it played out, and I did have the bishop advantage, but upon something like H6, I simply threw the game away. I forgot to get that bishop out of the way, trying to rush to the end of the game with not much time to go. You'll see the clock down here at this point was 14.3 seconds, so I was definitely rushing. I think he knew that, he took advantage. But look, jumping up to the top right hand here, the accuracy score is 61.1 for me, 65.8 for him. He did perform better, although I did have the advantage for longer in the game and I just couldn't convert it. So let's look back on the analysis. Not too many bad moves. The first inaccuracy comes here, Be2. Should have played G4, interestingly enough. G4 was the best move. I don't see a problem with Be2. They say it's an inaccuracy, but I feel like games at this level, getting your bishops developed, getting your pieces into the game is probably not a bad idea. G4 looks like a complicated move to play, something difficult to take advantage of, unless the idea is a pawn storm up the board, in which case I can't see that now. Nonetheless, we play on. The next mistake is Queen D2. Thinking getting the queen in the game would be a good idea. I made that move, but it wasn't. Something like A4 was better. Following that, F5. Now I started to play that pawn storm, but again, G4 as the next move first would have been better. So I think the idea would have been to support that pawn, charging up from E4 to E5. Okay, you can see the real error though was this move here, E6. Should have played down simply to the D8 square, and yeah, from there it would have been really game over for him. There's no way to halt that advantage. Okay, unfortunately, look, it played out pretty dismally. We did manage to get the win. I don't think I really deserved it, but we'll be back again with a couple of games in the next few days, and hopefully I deserve those wins if I get them. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks.